The airwaves and social media feeds are currently saturated with claims that a $2,000 stimulus check is hitting bank accounts this week, specifically for those receiving SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. For millions of Americans living on fixed incomes, this news feels like a long-awaited lifeline. The idea of a significant financial boost to combat the rising costs of utilities and groceries is incredibly appealing, and the sheer volume of reports makes it seem as though a new federal mandate has finally been enacted. However, it is critical to look at the cold, hard facts of the current fiscal landscape to understand what is actually happening with your money. As of this third week of April 2026, there is no federal legislation that has authorized a $2,000 stimulus payment for distribution. The reports circulating online are a mixture of speculative legislative proposals, misinterpretations of standard benefit schedules, and, in some cases, outright misinformation designed to grab attention. While there have been intense debates in Congress regarding a tariff dividend or a cost of living rebate, these discussions have not transitioned into signed law. The Internal Revenue Service and the Social Security Administration have not issued any directives for a fourth round of economic impact payments. The confusion for many beneficiaries often stems from the 2026 payment calendar. Because of how the calendar falls this month, many SSDI recipients are seeing their regular monthly payments arrive this week. For those with birthdays falling between the 11th and 20th of the month, your standard disability payment is scheduled for the third Wednesday of April. This is not a bonus or a stimulus, but rather the regular benefit you are entitled to under the law. When people see these deposits hitting accounts, it often fuels the rumor mill that a new stimulus has arrived, when in reality, it is simply the system working as intended. For those on Supplemental Security Income, SSI, the payment schedule is even more rigid. SSI payments are generally made on the first of the month. If you see any deposit this week, it is likely a correction of a previous underpayment or a specific state-level supplement, rather than a $2,000 federal check. The maximum federal SSI payment for 2026 remains well below the $2,000 mark for individuals, making a sudden jump to that amount highly improbable without a massive public shift in federal policy that would be headlined on every major news network across the country. Veterans receiving disability compensation or pensions are in a similar situation. VA benefits are typically paid on the first business day of the following month. This means your next scheduled payment isn't due until the start of May. While there has been significant advocacy for a veterans bonus to help with the 2026 housing market, no such bill has cleared the necessary hurdles to put money in your pocket this week. The 2.8% cost of living adjustment that began in January was the last major across-the-board increase for these programs. It is also important to address the tariff dividend rumors. There has been a proposal circulating in Washington to take revenue generated from import taxes and redistribute it to American households. While the figure of $2,000 has been floated as a potential yearly total, this remains a theoretical concept currently being debated by economists and lawmakers. It has not reached the stage of direct deposits or paper checks. If such a program were to be enacted, it would require a massive administrative rollout similar to the CARES Act, which would involve months of preparation and official government notices. Financial security for seniors and the disabled is a serious matter, and the spread of false hope can be damaging. Scammers often take advantage of these stimulus rumors to trick individuals into giving away their personal information or registering for checks that don't exist. You should never provide your social security number or bank details to any unofficial website claiming to help you get a $2,000 check. The government already has the information of those on SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. If a check were truly coming, it would arrive automatically just like your regular monthly benefits. The most reliable way to track your finances is to use the official portals provided by the government. Checking your My Social Security account or your va.gov profile will give you the most accurate, real-time data regarding your specific payments. While the dream of a $2,000 stimulus check remains a hot topic for political pundits and online creators, the reality for this week is a continuation of the standard 2026 payment schedule. Staying grounded in these facts helps ensure you can budget effectively and protect yourself from the cycle of misinformation. The persistence of these $2,000 rumors highlights a growing gap between public expectation and the legislative process. While it is true that many lawmakers are pushing for modernizing the Social Security system, the wheels of government turn slowly. Any change that would result in a multi-thousand-dollar deposit would be subject to intense public debate, committee hearings, and eventually a recorded vote in both chambers of Congress. We are currently seeing the results of advocacy, not the results of a final law, which is why your bank account balance likely reflects your standard 2026 benefit amount today. One major reason these stories continue to gain traction is the genuine economic pressure facing the disability and veteran communities. With the 2.8% COLA increase for 2026 being viewed by many as insufficient to cover the rising costs of healthcare and housing, the news of a $2,000 check acts as a beacon of hope. However, relying on these rumors for financial planning can be dangerous. It is better to look at the confirmed $994 maximum for individual SSI or your specific VA disability rating schedule to map out your monthly expenses. Another factor contributing to the noise is the Supreme Court's recent involvement in trade policy. There has been a significant ruling regarding the return of certain tariff duties to importers of record. While this involves billions of dollars, the money is primarily slated to go back to the corporations and companies that paid those taxes at the border, not directly to individual households as a stimulus check. Some have conflated this corporate refund process with a general public dividend, leading to the false impression that a check for $2,000 is on its way to everyone. For those waiting on the Wednesday wave of payments, the calendar is the most important tool you have. If you were born between the 11th and 20th of the month, your payment date for this week is April 15th. If your birthday is between the 21st and 31st, you should look for your funds on April 22nd. These are the confirmed dates from the Social Security Administration, and they represent the standard monthly insurance benefits rather than a new federal relief package. We also have to look at the Social Security Expansion Act, which is a real piece of legislation frequently mentioned in these discussions. While this act does propose a $200 per month increase for beneficiaries, which would total $2,400 over a year, it is not a lump sum $2,000 payment arriving this week. This bill is currently a point of contention in the 2026 political cycle, and while it has many co-sponsors, it has not yet reached the president's desk for a signature. It is equally important to distinguish between federal stimulus and state-level rebates. In 2026, several states with budget surpluses have considered sending out inflation relief checks to their residents. These payments vary wildly by state, often ranging from $200 to $500. If you live in a state that has approved such a measure, you might see a deposit, but it is a localized initiative and not the $2,000 federal stimulus check currently being advertised in viral headlines. The Department of Veterans Affairs has also been clear about its 2026 funding. While there have been enhancements to the PACT Act and other survivor benefits, these are specific to individual service connections and healthcare needs. There is no universal veteran stimulus of $2,000 scheduled for this week. Veterans should continue to monitor their decision letters and the VA's official digital dashboard for any changes to their specific disability compensation amounts. For those who feel their current benefits are not meeting their needs, there are legitimate avenues for assistance that don't involve waiting for a stimulus check that may never arrive. The Extra Help program for Medicare Part D has been expanded in 2026, potentially saving seniors thousands of dollars a year on prescription drugs. Additionally, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP, remains active, providing direct help with utility bills for those on SSI and SSDI. The digital age has made it easier than ever for misinformation to spread, especially when it concerns financial relief. Many video creators use the stimulus keyword to gain views, often citing old news or unrelated bills as proof of an upcoming payment. When you see a title claiming $2,000 is coming this week, always cross-reference that information with the newsroom section of ssa.gov or the IRS official announcements page. If a $2,000 check were actually being sent out, The Treasury Department would be required to send a physical notice to your address or a notification through your digital payment portal. This is a standard procedure to ensure that people are aware of where the money came from and how to report it on their taxes. If you haven't received a formal letter from the government regarding a stimulus payment, the rumors you are hearing are likely just that. Economic experts suggest that the tariff dividend concept, if ever passed, would likely be integrated into the annual tax refund process, rather than sent as a standalone check in the middle of April. This means the earliest anyone would see such a benefit would be during the 2027 tax filing season. The idea that it is arriving this week for SSI and SSDI recipients simply doesn't align with the way the federal budget and tax systems operate. Managing a fixed income requires precision, and the volatility of stimulus rumors can cause unnecessary stress or lead to poor financial decisions. Many people find themselves waiting for a deposit that doesn't clear, leading to late fees on rent or missed utility payments. The safest path is to treat any news of extra money as speculation until the money is actually sitting in your verified government account or announced by a high-ranking federal official. We are seeing a lot of discussion about the 2026 One Big Beautiful Bill, which includes various tax deductions for those over the age of 65. While this could mean you keep more of your Social Security money at the end of the year, it is a tax break, not a direct stimulus deposit. It's a subtle but important difference. One saves you money on your tax bill, while the other puts cash in your hand immediately. As we move through the rest of April, keep a close watch on your standard payment dates and ignore the clickbait that promises an overnight windfall. The $2,000 figure is a popular talking point because it sounds significant, but in the world of federal policy, such a large payment would require a massive shift in the national debt and spending priorities that we simply haven't seen in the current 2026 legislative sessions. Your financial peace of mind is worth more than the hype of a viral rumor. By understanding that your SSI, SSDI, or VA payment this week is part of the regular scheduled support system, you can plan your month with confidence. We will continue to follow the legitimate progress of any expansion acts or dividends, providing updates only when a bill becomes law. Until then, the $2,000 stimulus remains a proposal on a page, not a payment in your pocket.